You all knew this video was coming, but so did I. When I said at the very beginning of this series that I thought every single Horizon game had qualities that made it the best in the franchise, I really meant that. Horizon 5 not excluded. I know it's easy to hate on the new game and glorify the old, and it's not like I'm here to say that Horizon 5 doesn't have flaws or valid criticisms. I mean, if you're familiar with my content, you know that I criticize Horizon 5 all the time. It's a flawed game, and yet here we are, all of us. I mean, nearly 40 million of us have played this frustrating, buggy, soulless, recycled, FOMO-filled trash. But here we are, with hundreds if not thousands of hours of game time. Here we are, still in the top 20 Xbox games list. Here we are, still topping the Steam charts years after release. Here we are with 3 Game Awards and IGN's 10 out of 10 Game of the Year. Here you are, still watching videos about this supposedly terrible game, and here I am, about to spend the next 20 minutes trying to prove to a bunch of people hovering over the dislike button that Forza Horizon 5 is actually the best Horizon game. Now, it would be really easy to spend a lot of time in this video just focusing on the easy stuff. I mean, undeniably, Horizon 5 has the best graphics, most advanced physics and audio, biggest car list, biggest map, most active player base. I could go on, but I mean, that's enough to end the video right there. If you want to know what game is the best, I think those things alone are enough to justify Horizon 5 at least as a candidate. But obviously that's effectively always going to be true of whatever Horizon game is the newest. And I want to focus this video on Horizon 5's true merit. You know, the things that we'll remember fondly once we've moved on to Horizon 6, 7, and so on. But I do at least want to give a few sentences to some of these categories that I just mentioned, because for what it's worth, Horizon 5 did make significant strides in these areas over all the previous games, adding ray-traced visuals and tons of options for PC players with things like DLSS, FSR, and XESS, TAA, and better widescreen support, all while being pretty well optimized. I mean, I can play the game on a 1440 Super Ultra Wide at 120 FPS at max graphics, and the game looks gorgeous. Horizon 5 also added ray-traced audio environments, which makes driving through cities, canyons, and tunnels sound way more alive and dynamic. This is, of course, paired with Horizon 5 being the first game to let upgrades change car audio, where now things like the air filter and exhaust upgrade can make significant changes to the way a car sounds. Horizon 5 also managed to somehow continue to improve on the already amazing physics Horizon has always had, with much better tire and suspension modeling, leading to what I think is undeniably the best driving in any non-sim racing game. And to speak on the car list, I really don't think people appreciate this enough. Horizon 5, right now, at the time of writing this, has nearly 850 cars across about 125 brands. That's more manufacturers in Horizon 5 than actual cars in so many other racing games. And it puts Horizon 5 at the 3rd most cars in a racing game ever, only being beaten out by GT5 and 6, which both had over 1,000. But when you look at how many MX5s alone are in GT6, well, the number of truly unique car models between the two games is actually a bit closer than you might think. And of course, Horizon 5's player base is big, like really big. It is the most popular racing game in the world by a country mile. It regularly sits at the top of Steam charts, and the vast majority of players aren't even on Steam. It's been in the Xbox top 20 essentially every month since it came out, and if you just look at the monthly Rivals leaderboards, you can see that hundreds of thousands of people are still playing Horizon 5. And you know, just saying it to say it, but anyone could go play Horizon 4 right now. You can still buy the game, and it's usually cheaper than Horizon 5, so if the older games are better, and cheaper, then why aren't more people playing them? Now, obviously, this is totally a bad faith argument, and I can hear people click-clacking away on their keyboards right now in the comment section. Horizon 4 is actually still quite popular, and there are certainly some people that have gone back to play it instead of Horizon 5. But I still think there's something to be thought about there. Both games are equally available to everyone, so you wouldn't necessarily be wrong for having the mindset that the one with more than double the average player count of the other is likely the better one. But okay, I think I've gotten my point across. Obviously, Forza Horizon 5 is a wildly successful game that is still dominating the market 2.5 years after its release. But what actually makes this game good? What makes it unique? And what makes it stand out from the rest of the lineup? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Event Lab. This is a criminally underrated feature that some players to this day still don't even know exists, or haven't taken the time to see it at its best. I mean, it's hard to overstate how important this map builder has been for the game. It's given rise to so many amazing and now well-known creators in the community, like Twisted Knot, Buku, Joe C, XR Cosworth, and so many others. These creators are spending dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of hours creating amazing and unique experiences in Horizon all the time. I mean, thanks to the Event Lab, we have dozens of recreations of famous real-world racetracks, like Silverstone, Magione, and my own Scuba. There are incredible custom tracks too, like the iconic Edel Circuit or Alpine Heights. It's not just standard road racing though. If you want rally, there are amazing custom rally circuits and some really fun and unique rallycross events. If you want hill climb or toge, Event Lab has you covered with some absolutely amazing mountain passes. Or if you just want to cruise around in a new map, there are entirely custom open worlds to drive through, including my very own Hoshido City, which has a full highway network, massive mountain pass, and of course the city itself to drive, drift, or take photos in. And speaking of drifting, the Event Lab has done wonders for drifting communities, with even more real-world replicas like Mayhan Sportsland or different Ebisu layouts, and tons of massive custom drift parks that are amazing for tandems with buddies or just fun solo sessions. The Event Lab has completely unique gameplay experiences too, like this really fun scavenger hunt from Twisted Knot where you have to find and smash all the collectibles within a time limit, or Rainbow Bash's Barbie Kart, a Barbie-themed take on Mario Kart's gameplay, all within Horizon 5. There is just no other racing game on Earth with this level of player freedom and unique gameplay, and it gets better every single day as creators continue to put out more and more amazing content. I could honestly spend another half hour just bragging about how cool I think the Event Lab is, because to me, there's nothing better than giving players the tools to create the endless content and gameplay that they want to see. This is a defining feature of Horizon 5, and one that helps make it the best in the series. But let's move away from player-generated maps and talk about the map that Playground Games built for us, Horizon 5's Mexico. And be careful guys, because we are entering hot take territory. I think, truly, that Horizon 5, hands down, has the best roads in the series. The other games have better cities, better highways, and better scenery, but when it comes down to the tarmac itself, I truly think Horizon 5 does it best. For starters, there's a ton of variety and elevation. We've got a real racetrack in the map, a tight and complex city with some cool elevation change and some tunnels, massive bridges overlooking the whole map, canyons, jungles, beaches, and resorts, and the longest and most complex hill climb in any game, which took Horizon 4's Needle Climb and made it even bigger and better. That's just the tarmac though, because Horizon 5's base map alone did some serious justice to the off-road experience as well, with this incredible mountain road down the west side of the volcano, big open dunes, damp jungle swamps, forested hills and valleys, and this awesome off-road park by the Festival Outpost. Horizon 5's base map alone offers such a big variety of quality driving and has so many sections of road that I absolutely adore. I really do think that Horizon 5 has more good race layouts than any other game in the series. Sure, there are some iconic races from previous games that I love, but broadly speaking, for the quantity of quality tracks in each game, I think Horizon 5 has them all beat and has managed to satisfy both on and off-road fans in the base map. But that's also not to bring up the Rally DLC, which added what I think are undeniably the best roads in all of Horizon. But I'm not really focusing on the expansions for these videos, so I do want to wrap up this section by saying that I do think Horizon 5 has some incredible roads and some incredible variety that you just don't see quite as much in the other games. I had a realization about a year ago when playing that there were entire sections of the game I still had just never taken the time to explore. I mean, I focus largely on road racing, with some drifting and rally sprinkled in, and Horizon 5 does a great job of catering to all of that. But I could also just hop into a little 4x4 Polaris Razor or something and cruise off into the woods, exploring areas of the map most people never see. And the game will still cater to that experience really well too. You hear from a lot of people that Horizon 5, and even just Horizon in general, is kind of the jack of all trades but master of none when it comes to car games. And that's usually said as a bit of a diss towards the game, but I think of it more as a compliment, because Horizon 5 is not bad at all at any of the driving and racing experiences it tries to deliver. And it delivers a truly insane variety of driving that's just not seen in any other racing game in history. So I think Horizon 5 is also the best in the series when it comes to driving variety. And speaking of variety, let's talk a bit about Horizon 5's customization, starting with the wheels. This game has currently about 350 different wheels to choose from. Now, I don't know, I haven't verified this, but I think this is the most aftermarket wheels in any game ever. It certainly beats out all the other Forzas, and Need for Speed Unbound doesn't even have 200 last I checked, and Gran Turismo would be the only other competitor I can think of, but even they only have about 230 to pick from. Let me know if you think there is another game out there with more, but I think that Horizon 5 holds this record. Horizon 5 also has well over 100 body kits in the game, with about 90 wide bodies alone. That's not counting any of the normal front and rear bumpers, side skirts, and other aero bits that sometimes do make up a full kit. I know it can be easy to think that Horizon 5 might not have a ton of customization when you compare it to something like Need for Speed, or heck, just look at the more recent Night Runners demo. And it's fair to think that, because these 100 plus body kits in Forza are spread across over 800 cars. But with one of the better livery and painting tools out there, possibly the most rims in any game ever, mods that change the look of the car with detailed spacing, ride height, camber, and toe adjustments all showing up visually on the car, as well as some exhaust and engine sound customizations, anti-lag, launch control, tire profile size for some off-road cars, alongside tons of compound options, engine and drivetrain swaps, and more. I gotta be honest, again, speaking in broad strokes, if you factor all of that in and include just how many cars we have in Horizon 5 and how much customization each and every one of those cars gets just at a base level, Horizon 5 lets you drive what you want to drive the way you want to drive it more than just about any other game out there, and definitely more than any other Horizon. And that is yet another thing that makes Horizon 5 the best in the series. I also want to dedicate just a bit of time in this video to talk about Horizon 5's post-launch support, which has really picked up over the past year. We had a rocky start, sure, But once the expansions were finished and the team seemingly had more time to focus on monthly updates, things really picked up speed with much better monthly playlists, amazing cars, and some really cool feature additions, including multiple new radio stations, which for the record are fantastic, even if one of them is just a greatest hits selection from all the previous games. I wouldn't have said this a year ago, but I do feel confident saying now that Horizon 5 easily has the best post-launch support of the franchise, and arguably some of the best of any racing game ever. Now, I've dedicated a bit of time in each of these videos to talk about the community within each game. Horizon 1 was really just something you played with your buddies or by yourself. In Horizon 2, we started to see some smaller groups and communities crop up, especially around drifting. And then Horizon 3 and 4 is really where things started to ramp up. You know, Discord was becoming a thing, YouTube and Twitch were getting even more popular, and so we saw a rise to larger public communities and more content creators. And like I said in I think both the Horizon 3 and 4 videos, those games were fantastic for social play. But even though this is potentially kind of just a linear progression thing and might not be something necessarily unique about Horizon 5 in the future, it still wouldn't feel right to finish this video without talking about the absolutely immense explosion of racing and creative communities in Horizon 5. This is a game that is so strongly held together by its amazing and diverse communities. Playground Games has also done a pretty good job of promoting this side of the game, dedicating time during each monthly dev stream to focus on community-made event labs, liveries, and photos, and dedicating space on their site to the same, while also giving a new creator or community their own spotlight every month and running an events calendar on their site. They've done a good job of creating that carrot on a stick that encourages creators to create because they feel like it's worth it and their work could get recognized and seen by thousands. When you talk to people that are still playing Horizon 5 to this day, so many of them are still playing because of these amazing communities and the events that they put on. If you look at the Forza Creators Guild or Team Wars, Racing Haven, or HRA, or even so many of the content creators who have their own little pocket communities, all of these people are playing still because these communities have a space for them to do what they want to do in Horizon 5. Whether that be competitive racing, chill cruising, car meets and photography, tuning, map building, or getting a license in a Gran Turismo-inspired testing process. And to speak just a bit more on the competitive scene in Horizon 5, this game has given players more reasons than ever to get good. You know, I'm gonna say this at my own expense here, but I think it's still a good point to make that summarizes a lot of what I'm trying to say here when it comes to Horizon's competitive community and player base over time. Back in Horizon 3 and 4, I was one of the better players in the game. I held dozens of world records, and getting into the top 100 of a Rivals event was pretty easy. Most content creators could do it, because we were the ones spending the most time in the game back then. Here's an old video of Dubs going up against my number 50 time on the monthly board and eventually beating it. And I say this not to brag, genuinely. The point I'm making is that I'm not that good. I'm no esports level player, but there just wasn't a competitive scene in really any of the other games. So somewhat decent drivers like myself were able to achieve plenty of top times. And these top players just weren't really being pushed to improve. But that is no longer the case. Now I have to fight to get to the top 100 of most Rivals events, and there are tons of drivers that are leagues faster than me. And just in case it isn't clear, I love that, because I like seeing players truly reach the limits of what is possible in the game. And I think Horizon 5 is the first time we've seen that. I knew back in the early Horizon 4 days that I and the other creators weren't pushing the limit of the game, but now in Horizon 5, we really do have a better idea of just how fast you can be. And that's because of how much that competitive racing scene has grown. Obviously, though, it's not all about competitive racing. Communities like HRA or FCG are all about just helping each other grow and improve and sharing each other's progress. And no matter what you want to do in Horizon 5, there's a flourishing community out there that supports it. And that is what makes Forza Horizon 5 the best game in the series. Now, unlike the other videos, we don't have to say goodbye to Horizon 5's great driving roads, amazing event lab creations, massive car list, and especially as of late, great monthly content updates, because it's all here to stay for, well, at least a little while longer. Folks, we made it. All 5 games have now been covered, and all I have left to do is hit the publish button, sit back, and watch the angry comments roll in. I know it's not a popular opinion to say that Horizon 5 is good, or even dare to say that it's better than any of the others, let alone all of them. And I know that you probably also thought at the end of this series I would have some grand conclusion that I really did find out which game I truly thought was the best. But honestly, my opinion hasn't changed. I still don't have just one favorite, and I think going through this series has reinforced that, if anything. It has reminded me even more that each and every game does something better than the others. And every game is special to me because of the memories I've had, the hundreds or thousands of hours I've put into each one, the friendships I've made, communities I've been a part of, and my own community that I've built over the years. It all comes back to Forza. So I suppose when it all comes down to it, the real best Horizon game really was just the friends we made along the way. Thank you everyone for watching this video and this whole series. This was really a fun trip down memory lane for me and a great exercise in positivity. I seriously value the support though more than you could possibly know, so thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.